Let's talk about the one last night. I've got to say, from a neutral supporter's point of view, this was just one of the greatest games of football, wasn't it? And one of those ones you didn't want either side to lose, but unfortunately there had to be a loser.
One of the best finals you've ever seen. And the skill level last night, and it shows you when you get the right kicks at your football club, you go a long way. And the Western Bulldogs, time and time again, took the right kicks last night, as did the Brisbane Lions. But Caleb Daniel kicking into the middle, Bontempelli doing the same thing. Just the skill level was at a level that I haven't seen this year. This is the highest skill game of the year, and this is Chris Hemsworth, Bill.
That is Chris Hemsworth there. Your thought, Kane. There he is. He's jumped on the wagon. He's on the doggy wagon. Good on ya, Thory.
So the Western Bulldogs were down by 10 points at three-quarter time, and they found a way to win this game. They started beautifully. This one we'll get through. We're going to delve into this last quarter heavily. Nathan Brown's about to go to the plasma and do that. So they kick the first three goals. This one, was it insufficient intent? We'll debate that one later on. I thought it was a howler of a decision there. He just made a skill error, didn't make a mistake. Charlie Cameron should have taken that kick, but Lockie Neal raced over. This was a brain fade by McCarthy, slinging Keith down. So had everything in it this last period of play. And then what a goal, Bill, on the left.
That's composure. Just on the left, just straight through over the umpire's hat, and we'll explain what that meant too.
And then how good's this bloke?
This was
Zach Bailey.
Yeah.
Zach Bailey is an absolute clutch player late in the game. So the scores are level. 1:16 to go. Centre bounce happens. Free kick paid. Corey McKernan gone nuts about this. What do you expect Ruckman to do? They should be able to jump into each other. And then this one, smart by Vandermeer. Just doesn't matter. Just get a point.
Yep.
And then I love the kick in from the Brisbane Lions here, where they launch it. And Taylor Duray did a ripper job at the end of it.
He did. And I thought the Bulldogs, they were 3 goals down. They defended with their lives late in the last quarter and early in the first quarter. Let's have a look at when they started to turn it. So this is a big moment in the middle. They're still down at this point. Look at the pressure, and this is all forward pressure. Have a look at the efforts of Aaron Norton here. Now, Aaron Norton didn't have a huge night, but his ability to put pressure on in the middle here to win the footy back. Eventually, Brisbane get out of this, but that pressure's extraordinary. They win the footy. Now they're going forward. They've got a one-on-one forward at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. The smother comes to keep them in it. They are defending with their lives. Then a stoppage. This starts a stoppage, and on the back of this stoppage, this is where they get in front. This is what happened from the stoppage. Bailey Smith, the most dangerous man in the last quarter, gets some space. They go in and they kick a goal in there. Now this one, Bailey Smith, I said he's the most dangerous man in the last quarter. So you got McCluggage, who played well, but he's kicked 2 goals and he set up the last one.
Got him.
Scores a level. You've got to be on him. You've got to be arm across. Bailey Smith allowed to run inside forward 50, pretty much on his own. McCluggage trailing behind, so he kicks a goal. That's 2 goals going back the other way. Now this one, have a look at this. I thought Brisbane set up really well. One-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. Midfielders coming down to help out. But there's 2 players in here who don't have arm across, and they've got a leg rope. That's Vandermeer and Smith. Have a look at the 2 players who touch the footy, Smith and also Vandermeer. So 2 players weren't arm across, and that's the game.
Yeah, good, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan,
Good.
Nathan,
No.
you've set the benchmark.
Burritos or whatever you had, it worked.
or what Damo said. OK, Kane. Kane, the celebrations were always going to be joyous, weren't they? And they were just as entertaining as the actual game.
I reckon this guy's going to be the new face of the league. He's got 246,000 Instagram fans. This is a celebration. That says he's got ice in his veins. A lot of these AFL players take the celebrations and mimic those from the NBA. That's D'Angelo Russell saying ice in the veins. Now, Bailey Smith has put this picture on his Instagram this morning. It's been liked 81,000 times in 11 hours. So move over Dustin Martin. We have a 20-year-old who's going to be the new face of the league.
Would he put that up, Kane, to cover himself because people would have questioned what he was actually doing?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think some people would have been confused by it, but clearly there was nothing malicious about it, and he was quite clever. He used it as a caption to encourage people to get vaccinated this morning.
Well explained. I had no idea what it was, so well explained. Hey, what about this? Who would want to be a coach? Who would? Chris Fagan. All the emotions here, poor old Fagan. He's normally very calm. We know that. He's very calm. Here he is.
He's trying to be.
The camera's on him. Yep, I'm okay. Oh, no. What's happened? What's happened? And Poor old Fags. And they've had a really good year. They've lost by a point. They go out in straight sets again. But just a shame. Someone had to lose that game.
But it was interesting. I don't know whether we got the shots. When he was out on the ground, he was chatting to some of the players. And there was that sort of like fatherly image that he
Jared
likes
Lyons he was speaking to.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And it was almost like, don't worry how I'm feeling. You know, everything's all right, mate. You know, next year. It was terrific stuff. Now, Kane, it's Father's Day, right? Now, we're all in a good mood, right? But surely you're putting the volcano on ice itself. No, come on.
You've got to give the people,
possibly be volcanoing?
You've got to give the people what they want. Now, there wasn't a volcano last week and it blew up. People was, where's the volcano? It's the best segment on the show. So I had to give the people what they want. This isn't a nasty volcano. It's more of a bit of a warning. There's a lot of conjecture about the umpiring last night, so I just want to look at a couple of decisions. Now, I reckon this is probably the right one. There's a lot of people saying mark in front to McInerney, but I think Bontempelli controls it and brings it down. So I'm okay with that. The warning to the umpires is, though, if in doubt, if it's 50-50 in a final, don't blow your whistle. Lord, I'm 100% with you. Insufficient intent. You can't penalise a skill error. His intent was to keep the ball in play, so that was an umpire perhaps with no feel. That one there, I'm okay if they don't pay it. No one's going to know about it. Just let it play on. And once again, a minute to go, letter of the law, it's probably a free kick. It's probably a block in the marking contest, but 47 free kicks last night in a big final is too many. If in doubt, don't blow the whistle.
Spot on. 41 on Friday night, too many. 47 last night, too many. Let it go. It's finals.
We did get the impression via your text to the group last night you weren't happy with the umpiring.
Yeah, well, just
a
let
lot
it
will
go.
argue with that, though, Bill.
Ticky touch
I know, I agree with you, but you can't just say let it go. You've still got to pay the ones that are there.
No, let them go, Lordo. It's finals, mate.
I know what you're saying, but you can't just let it go.
No, did you see some Friday night?
Yes.
The forwards got? We would love to have that. They would ticky touch it.
I would have kicked 1,000.
And I would have kicked 200.
Hey, Damo, the narrative throughout the week for the Western Bulldogs, of course, will be injuries and whether a couple of their stars might actually get up or not, be it next week or potentially the week after.
Well, TJ, it was high drama at half-time when the players emerged from that break and Cody Waitman was ruled out for the match on the back of that play there, running into Marcus Adams inadvertently and being hit to the head to the point where the medicos at the Bulldogs took him out of the game after half-time. And then Marcus Bontempelli, very, very late in the game, had that happen to his right knee and he sat the remainder of those final few minutes out. And while he did say post-match that he might be okay, there's going to be a lot to play out on all of that. So Luke Beveridge spoke about Bontempelli. He spoke about Cody Waitman, about the concussion protocols. And Chris Fagan's putting a positive spin on the fact that they've only won one of 6 finals that he's coached them in at the end of 2021.
He just copped the knock to the back of his knee, so difficult to know extent of any injury. He's obviously a little bit sore. Tom, I haven't got the detail, and I'd rather not make any statements around it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd say it's likely that he probably won't be available. That's what my take is.
In some ways, I should say this. I think in my time here, I'm probably this year, even though we've just lost by a point tonight, I think that's been our best year because we've had a little bit more adversity than we've had in the previous years.
OK, so Chris Fagan there, just upbeat and looking ahead to next year. Before we talk about Chris Fagan specifically, Damo, can I go back to those injuries? We're not surely writing them off 100% either of those guys. Can you just clarify that?
Yeah, look, the concussion protocols, TJ, the way I feel we've been conditioned as an industry for the entirety of 2021 is that Cody Waitman, with regards to being taken out of a game for a head knock / concussion, means he doesn't play the next week or doesn't play inside 12 days of protocol. So that means he does miss the preliminary final. If I'm the Bulldogs, though, I'm seeking greater clarification on that. And I'd be staggered if they haven't already made that phone call. I'll be more staggered if they don't continue to push to his case because he did seem quite vibrant and buoyant after the game. I know that's got nothing to do with why they took him out of the game, but I think they'll argue with the Bontempelli one, there's just no read on that right now. They're heading to Perth to basically quarantine, inverted commas, then fly back to Adelaide for that game, and they're having scans in Perth once they get here.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting, that one, because it's going to be a real test case, isn't it? Because if the Bulldogs say, hey, it wasn't concussion per se, then he should play.
We've seen players on the bench come off and they're groggy and they don't really know where they were. He was very alert. He was in the game. He was up and about late trying to tell people.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a test case, and I thought Waitman looked pretty good, so I'd be leaning towards him playing.
And the one positive about being in the hub or being together is Bontempelli will get 24/7 care, and I'd be surprised in a prelim if he misses, despite how sore he is. Somehow they find a way to get up, Kano.
Yeah, Bill made a really good point in the pre-show meeting, didn't you, Bill, about the concussion with the week off after the prelim for the grand final, meaning that anyone's concussed in the prelim will be qualified to play in the grand final. So perhaps that's one of the reasons we just didn't plough through the season. Bill, excellent point by you.
And I'm not as positive about the Lions as Chris Fagan is. When you finish top four, they were belted by Melbourne last game. Should have been 50 points, in my opinion. And then they've been beaten on their home deck by the Western Bulldogs by a point. So I think, yes, he has had more adversity, but whenever you finish top four and you go out in straight sets, that's a bitterly disappointing end to your season, because you just don't know when you get back there again.